Just like the earth awakens in spring, so can we. With longer days, warmth, and sunshine, we have the perfect conditions to bring our seeds of intention to life, watch them grow and bloom. In this spring-inspired yoga flow, we'll embrace the energy of planting seeds, seeds of renewal, growth, and possibility. This practice will help you root down, open up, and prepare for new beginnings. Spring is a season of change, but change and growth isn't always easy. Like a seed pushing through the soil, we may feel or experience resistance as we step into something new. We carry tension from the past, doubts about the future, and the challenge of staying grounded while embracing the unknown. This practice is designed to help us move through that resistance and, just like the season around us, find the courage to bloom. Are you ready? Find a quiet space where you can move freely. A yoga mat is great but optional. Blocks and an extra blanket are helpful but aren't necessary. Set up in a way that feels cozy and supportive for you. As we move through this practice, remember to listen to your body, respect your body's limits, and honor what feels best for you today. This practice is adaptable to support you, so if a pose doesn't feel right, feel free to ease up, modify it, or skip it. Now enjoy your practice. Welcome to Natora Yoga. My name is Gigi and I'm happy to be your guide through today's yoga practice. Let's begin by warming up the body, and then we'll explore some deeper poses, focusing on opening, grounding, and embracing the energy of spring renewal. Turn to face the top of your mat with your legs extended out in front of you. Option to sit on the edge of a folded blanket to help elevate your hips and reduce strain on your lower back. With your legs extended out in front of you, keep a slight bend in your knees and flex your toes towards your shins to protect your knees. Moving into our seated forward fold. Ground down through both of your sitting bones. Lengthen your spine. Allow your shoulders to relax down away from your ears. Inhale your arms up overhead, and exhale, hinge at your hips as you lead with your chest and fold over your legs, bringing your hands onto the mat, onto your shins, or onto blocks. Breathe deeply as you fold. Inhale your arms up overhead, extend your spine long. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. Moving into our seated tree pose. Bend your right knee, bring your foot flat onto the mat. Give your leg a little hug towards your chest. Now open your knee to the side as you bring the sole of your right foot to the inside of your left thigh. Lengthen your spine. Inhale your arms up overhead, and exhale, hinge at your hips as you fold over your front leg. Breathing deeply. Keep both of your feet engaged to help protect your knees. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. Give your knee another hug in towards your chest. Keep length in your spine. Twist your upper body towards the right long side of your mat and hug your left arm around your right knee as you prop your right hand behind you and option and gaze past your right shoulder for a little twist. breathing deeply. Inhale, bring your body back to center and extend your right leg long. Moving on to the other side. Bend your left leg. Bring your foot flat onto the mat and give your knee a little hug. Allow your knee to fall open as you bring your sole of your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Option to stay here, or you can inhale your arms up overhead, spine long, and hinge at your hips as you fold forward over your right leg, bringing your hands onto the mat or onto blocks. Breathe deeply as you fold. Inhale your arms up overhead, spine long. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Turn your upper body to face the left long side of your mat as you wrap your right arm around your left knee. Prop your left hand behind you and gaze past your left shoulder if that feels good. Keeping length in your spine. Breathe deeply as you twist. Inhale back to center. Extend your left leg long. And you can bounce your legs if that feels good. And bring both of your feet flat to the mat. And walk your heels in. Bring the soles of your feet to touch and allow both of your knees to fall open for bound angle or butterfly pose. You can bring your feet as close to your body or as far from your body as feels comfortable. Lengthen your spine. You can stay here or you can hinge at your hips as you fold forward over your legs. Bringing your hands onto the mat, onto blocks, or onto your feet. Inhale your spine long. Bring your feet flat, knees together. And let's transition onto the mat. You can remove your blanket or your block if you're sitting on top of one. And find yourself in table pose with your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And from table pose, let's add some movement with some hip circles. So let's inhale, shift your hips to the right, back. Exhale, bring your hips to the left and forward. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, right, back. Exhale, left and forward. One more, inhale. Exhale. Pause at center and reverse the direction of your circle. Inhale your hips to the left, back. Exhale, right, forward. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Pause at center and come back to table pose. From here, let's warm up our spine with cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze for cow pose. Exhale, push the mat away from you, round your spine and tilt your tailbone down. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze for cow pose. Exhale, push the mat away from you, round your spine and tilt your tailbone down for cat pose. Do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale your spine back to neutral. Bring your big toes to touch. Take your knees wide and sit your hips back and down for child's pose. Keeping your arms extended out in front of you and resting your forehead on the mat. And breathe deeply in child's pose. And this pose is available to you whenever you need to catch your breath, rest, or exit out of a pose. Press into your hands as you lift your hips up, bringing your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees for table pose. Let's begin with our leg opening sequence. Inhale your right leg long. Exhale, bring your right knee in towards your chest and step your right foot forward between your hands. Tuck your back toes. You can come onto your fingertips or you can use blocks on the lowest setting. Stay here or press down through your feet. Use the strength of your legs and core as you lift your upper body. Clasp your hands and place them on top of your right thigh. Stay here or inhale your arms up overhead for low lunge. Your hips are facing forward. Draw your navel to your spine to engage your core and maintain balance and stability. Inhale. Exhale, bring your hands back down to your blocks or onto the mat. You can set your blocks off to the side. And let's transition into lizard pose. Walk your right foot towards the right long side of your mat as you bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. Breathing deeply. Walk your right foot back to center and bring your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Plant your hands as you step your right foot back. Table pose. And moving on to the other side. Inhale, extend your left leg long. Exhale, bring your left knee in towards your chest and step your left foot forward between your hands. Come onto your fingertips or you can use blocks. Press down through your feet. Use the strength of your legs and core as you lift your upper body. Clasp your hands and place them on top of your left thigh. Or inhale your arms up overhead. Breathing deeply. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat or onto blocks. Set your blocks off to the side. Walk your left foot towards the left long side of your mat and bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot for lizard pose. Breathing into the stretch. Walk your left foot back to center as you bring your left hand onto the outside of your left foot. Plant your hands and step your left foot back for table pose. And from table pose, press down through your hands, engage your arm muscles, draw your navel to your spine to engage your core, tuck your toes if they're not tucked already, And lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, you can keep your knees as bent as much as you need, or you can walk your dog by extending one heel towards the ground and bending the opposite knee and switching sides. And come back to downward facing dog. From here, inhale your right leg long for three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your right knee in towards your chest. Bring your right foot towards the left long side of your mat and rest your right knee behind your right wrist. Bring your back knee to the mat. You can extend your leg long as you settle your hips down. Keep a flex of your toes and your right foot. You can bring your foot closer to your groin if that feels more comfortable for your body. You have the option to flex your back foot or press the top of your back foot into the mat. If you notice a little space between your hip and your mat, you can place a folded blanket underneath to help support you. Stay here, or you can walk your hands forward and rest your forehead on the mat. Rest your forehead onto a block. Or I like to cross my forearms and make it a little pillow and rest my forehead on it. And breathe deeply into the stretch. Pigeon pose helps to open up our hips. Press into your hands or your forearms to lift your upper body. You can move your blanket or block to the side. Press into your hands, tuck your back toes, and step your right foot back up to three-legged dog. And come back to downward facing dog. Shift forward, bring your knees onto the mat. Take your knees wide, sit your hips back and down for child's pose. Take a rest here. Press into your hands as you shift your hips back forward. Bring your shoulders over wrists, hips over your knees for table pose. Press into your hands, engage your arm muscles, draw your navel to your spine to engage your core. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale your left leg long for three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your left knee in towards your chest. Bring your left foot towards the right long side of your mat. Your left knee is behind your left wrist. Extend your right leg long on the mat, flexing your toes, or you can press the top of your right foot into the mat. Option to place a blanket in the space between your hip and the mat to help support you. Lengthen your spine. Your hips are facing forward. Stay here, or you can walk your hands in front of you, resting your forehead on the mat, onto a block, or using your forearms as a pillow for pigeon pose. Breathing deeply. Press into your hands or your forearms to lift your upper body. Remove the blanket or block underneath of your sitting bone. Press into your hands, tuck your back toe as you lift your left leg back up for three-legged dog. Bring your foot back down to the mat for downward facing dog. Shift forward, bring your knees onto the mat, and move back into child's pose. Press into your hands, lift your hips, come back to table pose. And from table pose, find yourself back in downward facing dog for one last time. Inhale to gaze towards the top of your mat. And exhale with bent knees, take small baby steps towards the top of your mat, taking your time. And once you arrive, bring your feet hips distance apart or wider. Dropping your head, neck, and chest over your legs for forward fold. Press into your feet. Use the strength of your legs and core to lift your upper body, flat back, hands onto your shins or onto blocks for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, drop your head, neck, and chest. Press into your feet. Use the strength of your legs and core as you slowly roll up to stand, one vertebra at a time. Inhale your arms up overhead for extended mountain pose. Exhale, bring your hands down through heart center. Release your arms by your sides with the palms facing forward for mountain pose. From mountain pose, let's transition into tree pose. I'm going to face forward so that you can see. Ground down through both of your feet. Bring your hands onto your hips. Shift your weight onto your right standing leg. You can keep a slight bend in your knee. Bend your left leg. You can kickstand your toes into the earth and bring the sole of your left foot towards your right ankle. Or you can bring your sole of your foot to your right calf or inner thigh, making sure to avoid your knee. Send your roots down through your foot, pressing down through your feet. Lengthen your spine, draw your navel to your spine to engage your core. Option to keep your hands on your hips, or you can bring your hands through heart center. Gaze at a point in front of you. If it feels good, you can grow your branches up overhead and allow your branches to fill with leaves, maybe with cherry blossoms. Breathing deeply. Inhale your arms back overhead and release your left leg and shake it out. And let's transition to the other side. Ground down through both of your feet. Bring your hands to your hips. Shift your weight into your left standing leg, keeping a slight bend in your knee. Bend your right leg, kickstanding your toes into the earth, your calf, or your inner thigh, avoiding the knee. Draw your navel to your spine to engage your core to maintain balance. You can bring your hands out in front of you. Or if it feels good, you can bring your arms up overhead. Allow your branches to fill with leaves. Envision cherry blossoms budding and opening for springtime. If you lose your balance, get a little playful with it. Inhale your arms up overhead, hands back through heart center, and release your right foot down and shake it out. And find yourself at the top of your mat if you're not there already, in mountain pose. Ground down through your feet. Inhale your arms up overhead, extended mountain pose. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge at your hips as you fold forward through center. Dropping your head, neck, and chest over your legs for forward fold. Inhale, spine long, flat back, hands onto shins or blocks for halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, drop your head, neck, and chest. Plant your hands, step your right foot back, bring your knee down, step your left foot back. From table pose, bring your big toes to touch, take your knees wide, and sit your hips back and down for child's pose. Press into your hands, lift your hips back up. Bring your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Swing your legs out to the right. Sit your hips back down to the left. Extend your legs out in front of you and sit towards the center of your mat. Feet are flat on the mat, knees are bent. Bring your hands onto the backs of your thighs as you slowly roll onto your back, one vertebra at a time. Extend your spine along the floor. Your arms are by your sides, palms facing down. Walk your heels in towards your sitting bones. And from here, let's move into our supine figure 4 stretch. Inhale to lift your left leg, crossing your left ankle over your right thigh. Flex your toes to protect your knee. You can stay here, or you can take your left hand and gently push on your thigh to get a little added stretch. Breathing deeply. Release your left hand, lift your left foot, and bring your left foot back down onto the mat. And let's switch sides. Inhale to lift your right leg, crossing your right ankle over your left thigh, opening your hip, flex your toes to protect your knee. You can stay here or take your right hand to gently push on your right thigh to get a little added stretch. Release your right hand down to the mat, uncross your right ankle and bring your right foot back onto the mat. Bring both of your knees in towards your chest and hug your arms around your knees. You can stay here. If it feels good, you can gently rock side to side to get a massage on your lower back. Almost like a seed nuzzling its way into the earth. Come back to center and extend your arms and legs long and wide on the mat, taking up space. Moving into Shavasana, our final relaxation, I invite you to gently close your eyes, or you can gaze at a point in front of you. Allow your feet to fall naturally to the sides. Allow your palms to face the sky, Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Relax your neck, your jaw. Relax your eyebrows and your eyes and your forehead. Allow your entire body to feel completely relaxed and heavy. Feeling the support of the surface beneath you. And let's stay here for several breaths in silence as we absorb the benefits of today's practice. Begin to deepen your breath. Gently wiggle your fingers and your toes to reawaken your body. Option to stretch your arms up overhead and your legs long for a nice full body stretch. Then bend your knees, bring your feet flat on the mat. Shift your hips so that you can roll over onto your favorite side in the fetal position, using your bottom arm as a pillow. And taking a moment here to savor the peace and the calm that we've cultivated in today's practice. And press into your top hand as you lift your upper body back up into a comfortable seated position, keeping your eyes closed or lowered as you sit back upright. And bring your awareness back to your breath. Just like nature awakens in spring, we shed the heaviness of winter, root into the present, and open ourselves up to new beginnings. Now let's reflect. What seeds of change or growth are you planting in this season of your life right now? Plant your intentions with care. Now take a moment to send gratitude and love to yourself for showing up today, for moving your body, breathing deeply, and giving yourself care. Whenever you're ready, gently open your eyes. As we close, let's take a moment to connect with our breath through flower breath. Bring both of your hands together, joining the base of your hands, bringing your thumbs and pinkies together, creating a small flower shape with your hands. Imagine you're holding a soft blooming flower. Now with each inhale, gently open your petals, and with each exhale, softly close the petals. Let's take 3 breaths together. Inhale, open the flower. Exhale, close the flower. Inhale, open the flower. Exhale, close the flower. Inhale, open the flower. Exhale, close the flower. Gently release your hands. Thank you for showing up today and sharing this practice with me. Through this practice, we've grounded ourselves like deep roots, opened up to new beginnings, and planted seeds of change so we can bloom. Just as the earth nurtures a seed into a flower, trust that each step you take, no matter how small, is a step towards your own growth. May you carry this sense of new growth and possibility with you off the mat and into your life. Namaste. If you enjoyed this yoga practice, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share this class. And I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and share how you're feeling after today's class, or if something resonated with you. I hope you'll join me on the mat again soon. Take good care of yourself, each other, and our planet.